Welcome to another episode of Skeptic's Corner. I'm your curator and host, D'Angelo Williams, and we're here with Taylor, Gary, and Maeve. This is Smith County Courthouse edition. So before I open this book, I want to know your thoughts going into this. We'll start with Maeve and work our way down the line. So, did you have any prior knowledge, either one of y'all, of the location? Gary, I think you did, but any prior knowledge going into this investigation?
Not really, no. I had some of my friends kind of run the place, I guess. I guess that's what you call it. But I hadn't heard much about it. I just know a lot of people had told us we needed to go there.
Okay. Yeah.
I had very minor knowledge. I had a little bit, but not a crazy amount. I know there wasn't a ton of history on the location, like a lot of known stuff, because a lot of people haven't investigated the place. Only very minimal teams have.
Okay. Tyler?
No.
Short and sweet.
Short, sweet, and to the point. So, Maeve, Taylor, when you guys are going around, Gary, you too, when you're going around shooting B-roll, setting up cameras, putting out paranormal devices, what are your thoughts?
At Smith County,
Smith
or just
County
in general?
Courthouse. No, at Smith County
It
Courthouse.
was small.
As it's setting up.
Yeah, it was small. I think that's what got me at first. It was just really small, but it was very creaky and very creepy. So that was one of the first things that I felt like when I walked in. It's just it's pretty creepy, man.
What you think, Tyler?
It almost was like doing set design. It almost was like a set on the second floor. I think it was a set,
Yeah.
right? So it was like literally like a play was set up like up there. A play was set up in the second floor. I don't remember exactly what it was. Was it a courthouse play? Or
They did play, like kids did plays there.
yeah. So it was different in that it was like a play. It was almost like a movie. Like
Was it a
Taylor,
play?
Hey Taylor, was it a play?
It was almost like a
Was it
play.
kind of like a play?
That, and there was like the mannequin in the other room that had like all the outfits and
Yeah, that was
costumes
cool.
on it.
I like that.
So we found some like costumes. It was different. It was a weird spot, and then the town itself was very small, like middle of nowhere town. It was just a very interesting place. I'd never been to, like, everybody in town was at the bar across the street, the one bar across the street, and like it was Twilight Zone-y.
Okay. Gary?
I think you made a point at it on when you were talking about it. It's an active place, so it's different. Like they're still actively using it, so it just feels like ain't nothing crazy because they use it every day. So it doesn't feel like it's going to be a place that's haunted or things are going to happen because they're still using it all the time. I feel like if things were happening all the time, they wouldn't be used. So I think that does change your feel going in, and you're not as like worried about it. Like I don't feel like they were as worried going in because I think knowing that they were like, and not knowing much, you're like, oh, this is just normal. This looks like an active place. It doesn't look like it's scary or nothing. I think the look really changed their perspective going in.
Still creepy.
Okay, so this is what I loved about the entire investigation. I know that when I get Gary and I get Taylor on two opposite ends of the spectrum, when they come together, it is explosive, and that's what we got this investigation.
We're like two peas in a pod.
Don't touch me.
Release me. So we go in because I think Taylor's gonna get a little bit hot, and let's just say that, for lack of a better term, this house was loud. I mean, this courthouse was loud. It was very loud in the sense of noises happening everywhere, Maeve. So I'm curious to hear what you heard, because every time there was a noise, a creak, a cranny, or something like that, Gary had an explanation for it. To the point to where Taylor was sick of his shit and was like, hey man, this is why it's going off, or whatever the case may be. And they kind of had their words, but what do you think it was? Was it an old house settling, or was it ghosts?
It was rainy. I mean, the weather was not great, and it's an old building. So yeah, there was noises, but there were clearly some footsteps here and there. Like, I think we debunked a couple things. Shut the fuck up, Gary. Don't look at me. There were some footsteps And there were some noises that I don't think were all weather. But yeah.
Okay.
There
Did we
was
argue
something.
in the episode?
Yes.
Yes.
Like it was so bad.
That's how we
I
know you
left.
were sleeping.
I picked I don't know if you remember, but I picked the camera up and
Walked
left.
off, yeah. And I was like, we can't even do anything because we don't have a camera.
We just watched it.
No, it was like it's not. They cut it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I got so sick of y'all fighting. I just took the camera. And
Oh
left.
yeah, I remember that.
So you guys had like an argument or what have you. What did you hear, Taylor? Because clearly it wasn't the same thing that Gary heard, but
Well,
kind of on pace with what
I
Nate
think
heard.
part of the argument was also the music box. That was the start of it.
Yeah, because I thought it was hitting the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I thought I heard was footsteps and bangs upstairs.
Right. And you're sure that that's what you heard?
Yeah, sure.
Because Gary put it off as the rain and other things.
Right.
And then you and Maeve was like, no, those are...
It could have been, but it sounded like it came from inside the building.
Call came from
So-
inside the house.
I will say, like we said later in the episode that we did debunk later when we went upstairs and stuff. There were strong winds that night too, and we did say the strong winds did sound like it could have been footsteps.
Sure.
That was later. So, but at that point we didn't know. But
There
so
was still some.
there could have been, yes. Now I will say when like during your solo, there was a loud noise you clearly hear.
Yeah.
Like, and you might have heard that when we walked in, and I didn't hear it.
Right.
But all I could hear was the rain, the wind, and then we all heard that stupid whistle on the house, on the whatever building was outside that was so annoying.
Yeah.
That's where the whistle was coming from.
We,
It was coming from outside.
we did.
The next
we did
door,
determine
the
that.
library.
Yeah, and it was so annoying because it ruined certain things because you're listening so hard and you keep hearing that and you're like, well, once we found out it was outside, it frustrated us because like we couldn't get it to stop because it was outside.
So that's also the high-pitched noise that you guys heard as well?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't know for sure, but we were able to hear that when we went outside. We could hear it.
Okay.
It did stop later, but for some reason, when we went in our group, it was going off outside.
I think I said something to Steven about it, and he was like, I have no idea what
Yeah.
that sound was.
Okay. So Taylor,
Yep.
you was the first one on your solo. So you guys go in as a team. You hear what could be footsteps. You heard what could be some shuffling or what have you. Whether it's rain, whether it's the wind blowing through, whatever the case may be. You walk in and you hear a different type of noise. Explain the noise that because you said it sounded like shuffling, but sounding like footsteps is different from sounding like shuffling. So I'm curious to hear because you said you made a reference. It sounds like the Bobby Mackey vibe.
Sure. Yeah, it sounded like something dragging a little bit.
It wasn't a sack of shit this time.
No, and it wasn't like over and over again. So
Oh, okay.
it wasn't something that maybe like I would count as like, holy shit, this is really, really good evidence. It could have just been anything. So that sound wasn't like, over the top crazy.
Okay. This was the first investigation, Taylor, that you've had where you had body issues. Where you was like, hey, my body, I tell it to go and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
So explain that to me because there were certain floors you didn't really want to go on. That was
Yeah.
like, what was this investigation?
This is no. I've always had body issues.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't. Like if I want my body to move and it won't move, that's that's just everyone does that, right? Everyone experiences that. The third floor, the music box kept going off. And when things you're in a scary building and stuff is happening, you don't want to run to it, right? No one does. And as a ghost hunter, I'm learning how to get better and better at that. But as of now, or at that point in my investigation, in my career, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to chase it quite yet. Now I'm getting better each time. Each investigation goes through. I'm getting better and better. I think one day I'll fully be like I'll hear a noise and I'll sprint towards it. But not just yet. Okay, not just yet.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was hearing a lot of noises on the third, like the music box went on the third floor.
Yes.
Hearing a lot of noises up there, so I was trying to stay at the first floor. spend like the first night, the first floor. That was my goal. My goal from the beginning was I'll tackle 1 and 2 night 1, mainly 1, and then night 2 I was going to do 2 and 3. So that was the plan from the beginning. But we did get some music box stuff on the 3rd floor, and I think I went up and checked it for a little while.
So, Maeve, what was your inspiration behind the decision to read some of the dockets? I know that you read, quite a bit, up to the tune of an hour worth of them. It was curious because you made a comment about the women, but then when Gary goes in, Gary gets the men's section. So it was I kind of saw the flip. Because he didn't just go in and go, hey, I'm going right to the men's section, and you went right to the women's section. I want to know, what was your inspiration on choosing to read the dockets?
Well, I'm not sure if you've met me, but I'm a reader. So,
I know I am.
I'm a reader, and everybody that knows me knows I'm a reader. So you get me in front of a bunch of old documents and stuff in a jail and a courthouse, I'm going to read it all. Okay. And I really did, I don't know if I was just off on that investigation. But I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it really. And if you give me a chance to sit and read and not investigate, I'm going to sit and read. So, but I mean, like I said, it was just, I don't know. But I don't know. That was the best one. I enjoyed that one. Sitting and reading all that fun stuff and getting mad at the patriarchy. It was great.
Yeah, you made the comment that, you were upset at men.
Well, just reading some of that stuff.
Well, it's crazy because Gary had a completely different reading session because all the ones you read were women.
No, I found some men.
I mean,
You'd like to highlight those?
No, I taught. No, I didn't. If you watch the Raw,
Honestly, it's the opposite. Gary for sure only read the women's.
If you watch the Raw, no, the way it was cut, no, but. Like I said, it's just cool. It's the history of the place. To me, that place was more, like you said, it's an active place, but it's got really rich history. And I didn't know much about the history of it going into it. And like I said, it's creepy, but I really wasn't getting okay, I'm ready to dive in with some equipment and let's go. Okay. Not for ghosts. My soul was really let's go sit and read for 3 hours. So.
Yeah. So you instructed Gary to read some. Gary goes in. Gary, you read first night of the investigation. I know Maeve was your inspiration behind it, but what did you take from the dockets?
So what I took from it, like you said, I just grabbed 5, 2, 3, 4. She only did 4 that time, guys. She always goes 5.
She's older than me.
Gary's wrong again.
So she instructed me, she wanted me to read some of the stuff, and I just grabbed random things out, and it just happened to be things happening to men, but it wasn't like women were committing them. It was, to me, it was more of the poorer side or people with land, and the city was taking their land by committing them. The city was basically committing them. And to me, that felt like it was backhand deals by, hey, we want this land. We need to get this land from this person. If he gets committed, they lose the land. And that's what it felt like to me. It felt like the town or something was trying to take it from people, the stuff they wanted. And I think that's terrible. But again, that's how it was back then. It was like the Wild Wild West. Not obviously that old, but close. And I think that's the sad part of it, was people didn't have a say. It's just sort of like now, if government says something, you're screwed. It sucks. You don't have a say a lot of time. It's hard to fight that strong of a power, especially back then. You didn't have that chance to fight anything. So I think a lot of what I was reading was more of backhand deals of, oh, this guy has 60 acres. We need that. And so let's commit him, and we get it. He doesn't have a living relative. Perfect. We're taking it, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that's the part that sucks. But it was a unique. I don't know how she read so much. I give her credit. I could barely read half that stuff.
Yeah, that handwriting
crazy
was
cursive.
awful. Yeah, the handwriting was difficult to read.
Medical coder, I read doctor's handwriting.
That makes sense. And that was the conclusion of night 1. Mm-hmm. So then we roll into night 2. Gary, this night 2, I think, was probably one of my favorite investigations because somebody had a long-standing conversation with something on the other side through the music box, and still to this day discredit the conversation that they had with it. But to kick off, yeah. So night 2, Gary, you kick off night 2's investigation with your solo. You go in, and what's going on with the music box?
So first I started up top in the drug rehab room because I know there was a supposedly a spirit that targets women. So I did challenge that to target me and give it the open opportunity to do something to me. I invite you to do it to me. Interact with me. Do something to me. I know we have a lady coming in later. You can interact with her too. But do it to us. We got 2 men that's coming in here. Feel free. Do something to us. But again, it was crickets the whole time I was up there. Didn't hear nothing. So then you sent me to go to the safe room, which was like one of the hotbeds of the location.
Yeah. Before, but I'm gonna cut you off real quick.
Sorry.
So before the music box goes off, and this is why I have some problems with this. So before the music box goes off, you call out said ghost for picking on women. This is what I think it was more of you provoking it than anything. You go upstairs, the first thing you say is, hey, you like picking on women? Instead of picking on women, pick on me. And I go, oh shit, okay, Gary. Standing up for all women and stuff. So then you go into the safe room, and then I'm thinking, all right, he's finna have a conversation. The music box goes off through those words because you just provoked it upstairs, but you don't think so?
No, so like I said later when we were doing our wrap up, it could have been a smaller room. Like it could have been picking up stuff off the wall. Now, I don't think it was a wall setting off the whole time because it's a device that something has to break the light or the light that's shot out for it to go off. And if it doesn't, it doesn't go off. If you can sit it literally outside and if nothing breaks it, it's not going to go off unless something crosses it. Right. Well, it didn't go off the whole time. If the wall was picking up the whole time, it'd be going off the whole time. It didn't. So at times when I moved, I could set it off. So I didn't know if my shadow play was doing it or if I was getting too close to break the light. But when I was trying to get it to set it off, and I was saying set it off once or twice, I only wanted it once or twice. If it goes off 12 times, that's not giving me a once or twice. And I think that's the problem is like if it's truly wants to communicate and it can, and it's intelligent enough to be able to do this and it can't supposedly, then if I say one's no, two's yes, and it should do 1 or 2, it shouldn't go 1, 2, then 18 more. Because then that discredits what I'm looking for. If it gives me 1 or 2 and then stops every time, then now we're having a true conversation and now that's more credence to proof.
So Gary, if you piss me off and you tell me, because you just pissed me off upstairs by calling me out because I don't like women, and you say, hey, 1 for no, 2 for yes, you don't think I'd get carried away with the energy and go 7, 8, 9, 10 times to let you know, like, you damn right, I'm here. You right, I'm here. I am here.
Would say if
right here, yes.
Then when I kept saying, well, that doesn't mean anything because you're not doing 1 or 2, then I think you would want to prove me wrong and go 1 or 2 times.
Well, then you're instigating the conversation. So now I'm even madder.
Well, good.
So now I'm going off 30 times.
Well, then you should be coming and punch me in the face. Or grab me or scratch me or something. If you're that mad, show that to me. Okay. And that's what I did. I was open for that.
How are you going to even... Okay. I would like to see anybody figure out how to set that thing off once or twice. Like, what do you do, like, twice? You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck are you going to do it twice?
Hey, I can set it off 2 times. 1, 2. That's all you got to do. 1, 2. That would have been 3 times because you did it 3 hands.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't think if he was upset or she was upset...
If they were, they should have came punch me in the face or scratch me, grab me, do something else versus doing that. Because if I'm only wanting 1 or 2 lights, then that's all I should need. 15 of them doesn't, that's now, like I said, it could have been malfunctioning, could have been the smaller room that could have set it off, that could have done it.
Okay.
That's my logical aspect of thinking it.
Okay. So Taylor, you go in second for your solo. And right off the back, you hear noises. We can clearly hear the noise that you heard, the loud bumping. Is it from the wind, you think? Is it from the rain?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because to me, it sounded like it came from inside the building, but there was a lot of weather. So that's what sucks when you get weather like that. It's like it kind of ruins a lot of evidence because you don't know. You don't know if it came from inside the building or if it came from upstairs, the roof, the rain, the shutters next door. But it sounded like it came, like the bang came from inside the house.
It sounded like it came from inside the house for me too. I don't know. If
it did.
That was super loud.
Of course, Gary's gonna say that.
Well, we did prove the night before. We all agreed that the wind was making it sound like there was footsteps because it was blowing really hard. We were getting 30-mile-an-hour gust.
Okay.
So
Well, it was.
I'm not saying all, but I'm saying that. But if there is wind that has caused it, and we thought
It's
it
okay.
was,
The comment section will be on someone's side.
So it was enough to make you go downstairs, Taylor.
Sure.
What was it that was there a feeling there? Did you feel anything? Was it what made you go downstairs? Like, okay, all right.
I think this one I went downstairs because I just spent a lot of time up there already. I'm pretty sure. I think this one there wasn't like a reason. I just kind of got bored upstairs because towards the end nothing was happening. So I was like, maybe I'll go back to the first floor because the whole problem with the first night on the first floor was that I was setting the REM pod off myself. Yes. So it kind of like ruined that whole room. So I wanted to give that room real quick. I want to give it 10 more minutes, see if I could try to find something in there.
Okay. You still have one of the greatest reactions of all time on night one when it goes off and you're like, damn, I don't want to deal with this. Yeah. It was awesome. So to round out the solos for the night, Maeve, you drew the better stick, I'm assuming, and you went in third. It was funny because you made the comment that night one had you upset with men.
Yes.
Do you still feel the same way, or is that just like in that moment?
In the moment. I mean, you read about that stuff. I mean, yeah. I mean, but no. But
Okay.
the one thing I will say, though, about that is that male energy. I don't know if you're going to ask this or not, but that male energy was a 15-year-old. Like, I don't know. I couldn't provoke it. I couldn't be mean to him to get stuff. So that kind of threw me off.
Okay. And you too heard something. Was it like a loud bang? Was it more of a what did you hear?
It probably the wind. No, like I said, it was.
Gosh, why do you guys let Gary infiltrate?
I know, because I know he's going to sit here and make faces. But it did sound. It sounded busy. It sounded. I don't want to say like a footstep, but it sounded like a bang.
Okay. Gary.
I guess. Well, you also had a unique experience when you were sitting down.
Oh, with my hood.
Yeah, I want you to talk about that because I know it was on the end where they just highlighted because you couldn't see it on the camera. It didn't show anything. But I want to know what you felt on that.
I was just sitting there.
And what it was.
Yeah, like I don't know what it was. I was just sitting there and it literally felt like there was a tug on my hoodie. And I obviously reacted to it. Yeah. But I mean, we didn't catch anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't feel anything. It wasn't, none of the equipment was going off, but it was just like a blink. So, and then I got pushed violently.
So I was gonna get to that. So she sent us a picture after the investigation, and that picture had her ankle like swollen up big, and we was like, "What the hell happened to you, Maeve?" And she goes, "I fell down the stairs," and I go, "What stairs did you fall down?" And she goes, "Smith County Courthouse." And I was like, there's no way. We didn't hear or see or anything. And all of a sudden, it was a fade to black. So she fell.
Violently attacked in the
I
hallway.
guess we didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
No camera
I was
in the
on
hallway.
TikTok when And one of my friends was on the live, and she's like, "Did you just fall?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure did."
Oh,
I
wow.
got violently attacked in the hall.
Yeah, that was our TikTok episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, but I got to get our last rating. So Gary, before we left that night, you were rated at 5 out of 10. Do you still rate it 5 out of 10 after getting a chance to think about it?
Well, I would say even thinking about it, I've probably lowered it. At that point, it was 5 out of 10 because I rated it higher than I would, but it was only because they were starting to feel like there was less. They were coming to my side. And I feel like now that we've done other investigations, they're not still there. So I'm going to lower it to actually probably like a 3.5.
Okay.
Because I didn't really feel like there was a ton. And like if we could have got the music box to do it in the bigger room and recreate the same thing, because I moved it into the bigger room and it never went off once. Right. So like if I could have got it to respond that way, then that would have definitely raised it up, because then I would have got an intelligent response using the music box, and there would have been no question of what was setting it off. So I think that, so for me, and I didn't really get much, and I even watching back, I don't think they got a ton of evidence. I know you hear sounds, but again, some of it can be the weather. The weather screws with a lot of stuff, and that's what sucks. Because we may get some amazing, there may have been thousands of footsteps walking, but the rain could have just washed it all out, and we could just chalk it up to the wind and rain. That's what sucks about it, because we don't truly know. Yeah. And so I'm going to give it a 3.5. But again, part of that is because of the weather as well. The weather sucked for us.
Yeah, lost 1.5 points. It did suck. Maeve, after the investigation that night, you rated a 4 out of 10.
About the same.
Still the same. You don't move. You don't go down. Taylor,
Same.
you rate 5 out of 10.
Yep, same thing.
You stand there.
Yeah.
I had a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm still where I am. Because I was going into it with a lot of expectations. I was hoping with her hoodie being pulled, with your music box going off so many times, and with the loud banging, none of it would make sense. None of it would be explained. And I'd be able to be like, oh, this is one of the best investigations that we've had, living up to like the Bobby Mackey and some of the other investigations that we had. But it didn't live up to that. It was more so hyped than anything. I would think that this was hyped up like The House in Between, and it didn't deliver.
Funny. It
was funny. It was definitely, yeah, it was definitely a funny episode, because Taylor just wasn't there for night one. He did not want it.
Well, I'll say this. I wanted to answer this question that you didn't ask, but it's okay. I'll ask it to myself. How did I feel about how I did in the episode? I think that this is the first episode where
selfish plug.
This is the first episode I felt like it was entertaining. I had great camera work.
Whoa.
Besides the light.
Oh my God.
Besides the night camera.
But you need the night vision.
Yeah. Besides the night vision. But I felt good about this episode. I think we all did. Our humor was on point.
First night we were good.
When nothing happened, and it was still an entertaining episode. Yeah. So I think we're coming into our own. I think we're learning how to to make it entertaining. And I honestly think this was like one of the better episodes we've done. So.
It has nothing to do with you.
This was Taylor's episode.
I know. That's why he said it. This is one of the better episodes.
It was good though. I'm glad.
And I even told him before. I was like, first day was all Taylor. Second, it was boring for me and May. It was very boring watching, but Taylor made that first day. Second day, there was a lot of arguing.
Yeah.
That expression though, when the music box goes off,
so good.
Why me? Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of Skeptic's Corner, Smith County Courthouse edition. Where we going next?